Who'll-do, Tiddlypeeps? I'm Hubba, talking to you from Hoobland, and I'm about to send 4 of my favourite Hoobs down to Earth to find out all about you for my great Hoobapedia. Here they come! You know who the Hoobs are?
Iver!
Groove!
And Tula!
We're Hoobs! And they're ready to go.
Oh.
Now the wheels are turning, we can all get learning all the things we want to know.
Hey!
Hubba's in Hoobland, and Roma somewhere far away. The motorettes are singing,
We keep the engine spinning.
hoop hoop hooray! The Hoobapedia is coming your way.
Oh!
Well, hey!
The Hoobs are here, so what do you say? Hoobs!
Typical.
What's the matter, Groove?
Well, look, the Hooba steps are broken.
Oh, dear.
Now then.
What you looking for?
Oh, Hooby Tyne, I can't find any anywhere.
Well, you're not going to find it by staring up in the air, are you?
Oh,
Now what is it?
oh, I'm looking for Hoobo Fix and I can't find any of that.
I don't suppose you'll find that by staring up in the air either.
Ah, Hoobledoop Tula, Hoobledoop Groove.
Hoobledoop either.
So, have either of you thought up a question for Hoob News yet?
Well, I've been busy tidying up these shelves, and Groove's been trying to find some Hooby Tie and Hoobo Fix by staring up into the air.
Yeah, I could do with some Hoobo loops as well whilst I'm at it.
Well, look, there's a big ball of Hooby Tie just up there next to that roll of Hoobo Fix by a jar of Hoobo loops.
You see, they wear up in the air all the time. I need all those things to fix my Hooba steps.
How did they get up there?
Yeah, well, I put them up there, didn't I? But unfortunately, I used the Hooba steps.
Oh.
Yeah.
And now you can't get them down because the Hooba steps are broken.
Oh, this is too annoying. Oh, if only I were taller. If only.
I wish that I were taller. I'm sick and tired of being smaller than the average kind of guy. If this wish could come true, imagine all the things I could do. I could reach up to the sky. I could swing upon the moon, whistle clouds a hooby tune, warm my paws upon the sun. I could tower above the trees, teach the birds their ABCs. A happy hoop, I'd sure be one. 'Cause there's nothing like a little bit of height to make everything seem alright.
Cheer up, Groove.
We'll get the things down somehow, just as soon as we've done Hoob News.
But Iver, how will we get them down? I mean, how can Groove reach the top shelf without the Hooba steps?
Oh, it's Hubba Hubba.
How can Groove reach the top shelf without the Hooba steps? Well done, Hoobs. That's a Hoobacious question. Yes, it's perfect for my great Hoobapedia.
Maybe we could find a way of making Groove taller. Then he could reach all those things on the top shelf.
Yeah, and I'd be tall, just like I've always wanted to be. Hooby groovy. Hubba, will you let Roma know what our question is?
Certainly, Groove. I'm sure she'll come up with a way of making you taller. In the meantime, I've had a bit of a look around on HoobNet.
Yes?
I fed in growing taller and getting bigger. But all this stuff came up. It's a little curious, but perhaps you can make some sense of it. Ah, now that Peep's bringing some food to the table. And there's a Peep eating. There's a Tiddlypeep eating something. Oh, look, those people are eating with sticks. Oh, look, Peeps, Tiddlypeeps and Wrinklypeeps, all eating.
Eating. Yeah.
Right. So getting bigger must have something to do with eating.
Maybe eating is what makes Tiddlypeeps grow bigger. If we feed you a really big dinner, Groove, then maybe you'd get bigger.
Sounds like my kind of plan. Let's go and see what's in the Hooba fridge.
OK, but if we're going to do this, we've got to test it out properly. And that means we measure Groove before he eats his big dinner, and then we measure him afterwards to see how much taller he's grown.
Hooby-galooby, you are a genius, Iver.
Oh, thank you, Tula.
Oh, and I know just how to do it. Here's how.
Tula, how is that stumpy little pencil going to help?
You'll see. I'll measure Groove while you find him something to eat.
Oh, all right.
Groove. Oh, Groove. Groove!
Wait, what are you doing, Tula?
You just come here and stand still against this wall, Groove.
But I want my big dinner.
No, wait. There. That's how tall you are.
Oh, yeah, very nice. Now, where's my big dinner?
Here it is. 12 Hoobie cookies, 6 Hoobie buns, 8 Hoobie scones, 2 Hoobie cakes, 3 Hoobie puddings, and the biggest hoobnip from the hoobnip tree.
Oh, thank you.
Of all of us, Groove is probably the only one that could get through all that food. But how?
How, 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 how.
That's how.
Hoobie-galooby! Do you feel any taller?
Actually, no, I'd feel a bit sick, to be honest. But it'll be worth it if I've grown.
There's only one way to find out. Stand up against that wall again. Oh, you haven't grown at all. You're just the same as before.
Actually, I think my tummy might have grown. I don't feel too good.
Oh, we were sure it was food that makes Tiddlypeeps get taller. Why doesn't that work on Hoobs?
Let's ask Hubba and see if he's got any ideas.
Hooble-doop, Hoobs. I've been doing a bit of research. It seems that food is part of what makes Tiddlypeeps get bigger, but they only grow a little bit every peep year.
Oh, so feeding a Hoob won't make him get taller soon?
No, I'm afraid not, Iver. But a Tiddlypeep has sent in a story to HoobNet, and it might help you. Let's have a look.
Once upon a time, there was a great big giant. The great big giant's favourite game was football, and he had a great big giant ball to play with. The question was, who was going to play with him? Well, the great big giant had 2 neighbours, a gnome and a magician. The magician was too busy writing spells to play football. So the great big giant asked the gnome if he'd like to play. "Absolutely," said the gnome. "I love football." But when the great big giant kicked the great big giant ball to the gnome, it landed on top of him and squished him into the ground. Ow! The great big giant lifted the ball off the gnome.
"I'm very sorry,"
he said.
"I didn't mean to squish you."
"That's all right," said the gnome, "but I'm just too little to play football with that great big giant ball." Now, watching the game, when he really should have been writing spells, was the magician, who was secretly a big football fan.
"Perhaps I can help,"
he said.
"Try this spell. For a gnome to play football, make him 20 feet more tall. Hocus pocus, don't you snicker. Make him altogether bigger."
And wham!
Oh.
In a flash, the gnome was just as tall as the great big giant. He was a great big giant gnome. They both thanked the magician.
"My pleasure,"
he said.
"There's nothing I like better than watching a good game of football while I write my spells."
So, the great big giant and the great big giant gnome played football under the magician's window all day.
Oh, that's it. That's the answer. Let's try out a spell, and then maybe I can be a giant Hoob too. Okay, here goes. Stand back. I'm a Hoob who's much too small. I wish I could be really tall. Hocus pocus, don't you snicker. Make me altogether bigger. Come on.
What?
Oh, yes.
Come on, measure me.
Oh, it's no good. You haven't grown at all.
Oh, who be bother? The spell didn't work.
I think I know why, Groove. In the story, it was a magician that gave the gnome the spell.
Oh, yes. Iver's right. Hoobs can't make up spells. No magician, no magic.
Oh, you know, I am never going to get my Hubba steps fixed at this rate.
Yes, and not only that, we won't be able to answer the question in time for Hoob News.
Maybe if I throw a Hooby bun up there, I can knock the stuff off the shelf.
No, don't do that.
Why not?
Because it's dangerous, that's why not.
Oh, I guess you're right, Tula. I was just annoyed at, not being tall.
Well, I'm sorry, Groove, but you wouldn't want to break all those things the Tiddlypeeps have given us, would you?
Hubba,
Hubba's back.
Tiddlypeeps, Groove. Now there's an idea. Why don't you go and ask some? They're sure to know a way to make a Hoob taller.
Tiddlypeeps, yeah, they'll know what to do, but to be honest, I feel a bit too full up to go and visit the Tiddlypeeps.
Then I'll go for you, Groove.
And I'll drive.
Seatbelt.
Mm-hmm.
We're off to see the Tiddlypeeps.
We're off to see the Tiddlypeeps. On the road we go. We're off to see the Tiddlypeeps. They're smart. They're fun.
They know.
The Tiddlypeeps, if we need to know who, what, where, why, when, and how, we'll ask them, off we go. Yee-hoo! We're off to see the Tiddlypeeps, on the road we go. We're off to see the Tiddlypeeps, they're smart, they're fun, they know.
It's Want to do a Hoobie hello?
Yes!
Hooble-doop! Hooble-doop! Oh, it's so good to see you all. Have you any idea how Groove can make himself taller?
He can stand on his tiptoes like this.
Oh, that's clever. I wonder if Groove can do that. Are there any other ways he can make himself look taller?
What about stretching like this?
That's it. We've solved the problem. Groove, can you hear me?
Yes.
It's time to start standing up on your tiptoes
Yep.
and reaching your arms as high as you can. Thank you. I must get back to the Hoopmobile. Oh! Hooble-toodle-doo!
Oh, it's no good, Tula. I'm a bit taller, but not tall enough.
Wait a minute. Maybe we could try stretching you a bit more, Groove.
Hoobie groovy, Tula.
Did you say stretching?
Yeah.
Audacious idea. On the floor, Groove. We are going to give you a jolly good stretch. I'll grab his feet. You grab his arms. Right. Oh, thank you, Groove.
Yeah. Do you think a Hoobie's made of stretchy stuff, Iver?
We'll soon find out. OK, Tula, stretch.
Oh, no, stop! That hurts! That hurts!
Oh, sorry, Groove. We didn't mean to hurt you.
That's all right, Iver. It'll be worth it if I'm taller. Come on, Tula. The truth is, I don't actually feel taller. What I feel is... sore.
Oh, you aren't any taller.
Who be bother?
Don't worry, Groove, it's Roma. Maybe she'll know a way.
Hubble-doop, Hoobs. Today, I'm at a street parade. Hoobloads of peeps and tiddlypeeps have gathered together to have fun. There are all sorts of fan-tabby-hooby things to do.
What sort of things, Roma?
Well, there are several peeps whose job it is to entertain all the other peeps by doing strange and amazing things. Take a look at this, for instance. These peeps are balancing on long sticks called stilts. They tie the stilts to their feet so that their legs seem much longer. Before you can say hubba hubba, the peep is high up in the air. Can you imagine a Hoob doing that?
Yeah.
I think I'll have a go myself. Hooble-toodle-doo, I'm off to have a chat with a very tall man. I say, you with the legs. Oi!
Who Hooby galooby. We've been looking at it the wrong way.
Yes, of course. What have we been looking at the wrong way?
How to make you taller, Groove.
Oh, yeah.
That Peep hadn't actually grown taller. He was balanced on something tall to make him higher up. Yeah. The answer to how Groove can reach the top shelf without the Hooper steps is to make him some stilts.
Hooby groovy stilts. But how?
How, 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 how.
Here's how, with 2 bits of the broken Hoover steps.
And some ribbon from my Hoopy Bits box to tie them to your legs.
Guys, I'm really not sure about this. It just seems like a crazy...
There you go. Time for you to reach up to that top shelf.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait a minute. I'm sure stilts are Hooby groovy and everything, but I'm not sure that Hoobs are natural stilt walkers.
Groove could be right, Iver. Peeps probably have to practice for a long time.
Yeah, and it looks dangerous. I mean, if I go up in the air on stilts, how do I get down again? A bit quickly, probably.
But Groove, it's nearly time for Hoob News now.
And we still don't have any idea how to make Groove reach the top shelf without the Hoover steps.
Hubba, 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 hubba.
It's Hubba Hubba.
Don't worry, Hoobs. Time for another visit to the Tiddlypeeps. They're sure to be able to help you.
Hubba Hubba's right.
Yeah, I think I'll go to the Tiddlypeeps this time before you two have any more Hooby groovy ideas.
Yes,
OK, I'm driving. Come on, let's wake up those motorettes and get this Hoopmobile moving.
We're off to see the Tiddlypeeps. On the road we go. We're off to see the Tiddlypeeps. They're smart. They're fun.
They know.
The Tiddlypeeps, the Tiddlypeeps. If we need to know who, what, where, why, when, and how, we'll ask them. Off we go. We're off to see the Tiddlypeeps. On the road we go. We're off to see the Tiddlypeeps. They're smart. They're fun. They know.
Hey, you look like you're having Hoob loads of fun. I was hoping you might be able to help me, because I've spent ages trying to make myself taller so that I can reach the top shelf of the Hoobmobile, but nothing seems to work. I'm desperate to be taller, but I don't know how to make it happen. I bet you'd like to be taller too, wouldn't you?
No, I'm glad I'm small.
Are you really? I am surprised. Don't you want to be as tall as a giant?
No, if I was as tall as a giant, I wouldn't be able to fit in this playhouse.
I see what you mean. Hadn't thought about that. Well, oh, hello. In fact, if you were taller, you wouldn't be able to play in this playground, would you? And if I were taller, I wouldn't be able to play with you.
I'm glad you're not any taller, Groove.
Oh, yeah, I think I am too. Being small is Hooby groovy. But there is just one problem. If I'm not going to make myself taller, how am I going to reach the top shelf in the Hoobmobile?
Yes.
Oh.
You can use one of these.
How does that work?
Easy. We'll show you.
I see. You use this pole to reach the ducks. Now, if I put the pole up in the air like this, maybe I'll be able to reach the top shelf of the Hoobmobile.
Why don't you borrow one and try it out?
Oh, really? You don't mind? Oh, thank you. That is so kind. I'm going to give it a go right now.
Good luck!
Thank you, Tiddlypeeps. And Hooble Tootle do.
Hooble Toodle Doo!
Well, at least I've found out that I don't really want to be taller anymore. Being the size of a Tiddlypeep is really Hooby groovy.
If I was bigger than all of us, there'd be no room upon our bus for the things I've collected now. I'm so glad that I'm smaller, so much better than being taller. The Tiddlypeeps have shown me how I can fit in a tiny space or a teeny hiding place where a giant Hoob couldn't go. I can play upon the slide, the swings and the playground rides where the big peeps are told no. 'Cause there's nothing so good as being the size you see. Hoobs are Hoobs, it's the size we're meant to be.
Well, it's nearly time for Hoob News, Groove. What are you going to do with your pole?
Well, I'm going to test it out, Iver. See?
Hoop, hoop, hooray!
Now I can reach the top shelf without the Hubba steps and get all the things down so that I can mend the Hubba steps. This might be the best Hoob News ever.
Three things on the shelf, high up in the corner. Three things, two things, one thing way up there, high up in the corner. So three hoops want to grow much taller. Three heads, two hoops, one head on the bus wants to grow much taller. Three motorettes on the bus, we quite like being small, yeah. Tootle, Timp and Twang, that's all of us, we quite like being small, yeah.
Well now, Hoobs, are you ready to give me your Hoob News for my Hoobapedia?
We're ready, Hubba Hubba.
Then off you go.
Hooble-doob, whoop! To all you Hoobs out there, welcome to Hoob News, the new show for Hoobs everywhere. I'm Iver.
I'm Tula.
And I'm Groove.
And today we've been asking the question...
How can Groove reach the top shelf without the Hubba steps?
We decided that the best thing to do would be to try and make Groove bigger.
Which was great, because I'd always wanted to be bigger.
Hubba Hubba showed us some Peeps and Tiddlypeeps eating. We thought that might be a way of getting bigger.
So we tried feeding Groove Hoob loads of food.
But it made me feel sick.
Then Hubba Hubba showed us a Hoobacious story about a gnome that was too small to play football with a giant.
So a magician cast a spell on him to make him bigger.
So I tried my own spell.
But that didn't work either.
So I went to visit some Tiddlypeeps who were stretching.
So we tried stretching Groove instead.
But that hurt.
Then Roma showed us some Peeps who were really high up.
So we made some stilts for Groove.
But he was too afraid to go up on them.
Hey, that's not fair. It was too dangerous.
Well, anyway, Groove went to visit some Tiddlypeeps.
And they showed me that sometimes it's better to be small.
But we were worried that he hadn't answered the question.
But the Tiddlypeeps lent me one of their poles with a hook in the end, and that gave me an idea. I didn't need to be bigger at all.
So, the answer to today's question, how can Groove reach the top shelf without the Hubba steps, is...
Use a long pole with a hook on the end.
Fantabby-hooby! Yeah. So it's thanks once again to Iver, Tula, Groove and Roma for giving Hoobs everywhere a little peep into the world of Peeps. And remember, however tall you may be, have a nice day and hooble-toodle-doo!
Hooble-toodle-doo! So, because I managed to get all that stuff down from the top shelf, I was able to mend the Hubba steps, which means that now I can use the Hubba steps to get all that stuff down from the top shelf.
But you've already got everything down from the top shelf. That's how you mended the Hubba steps.
But if I've already got things off the top shelf, then I don't need the Hubba steps anymore.
Huh? Oh!
Oh, I'm confused.
Hubba's in Hoobland and Roma somewhere far away. The motorettes are singing,
We keep the engine spinning.
hoop hoop hooray!
The Hooba bin is coming your way.
Oh!
Hey!